All right. Well, how about this? How about let's start with the NHL card today, because there are a couple of selections that I'm thinking might be pretty good, and I was kind of liking. And the first one that I want to bring up, let me pull up the lines here. We're running a little bit late. Open all tabs. First one I'm thinking about is the Pittsburgh Florida game. Right. Total is 6, as we know. I'm up in hockey still, but the only reason I'm up is just because I've been pounding these overs and more often than not cashing with them. And probably if we had both just sat here and just given the over in every game, we'd be way up and calling ourselves even bigger geniuses than we were yesterday, which we maybe shouldn't have done. But pride goes before the fall. But I'm thinking that Pittsburgh and Florida on the over might be worth a shot at the 6 minus 105. I know that Florida, had an under game recently, but in general, an over team. Pittsburgh can score over 6 minus 105. What do you think, Jim?
I like the Panthers as a home dog here. I can never. When I was going over the Penguins roster again, I was looking at their bottom 6, and truly, if Malkin and Kessel don't provide any offense, this team is going to struggle scoring. Now they're such a complete team, and they're such a veteran leadership and all the intangibles you can ask for. And we know the Panthers are going to score and allow a lot of goals. So I like your overcall. I think it makes sense. I'm going to stick with just taking the Panthers as a home dog. I know that the Penguins are getting Ian Cole back in the lineup, but the Panthers are 2-0 at home. And they've moved Dadonov back to that top line with Huberdeau and Barkov. And they have a ton of forward depth. So I've always been a huge Bukestad fan, 6'6", third line. Their third line is very strong.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the Panthers as a home dog on the money line.
All right, so let's see. What do you got here? All right, so I'm going to take over 6 minus. Oh, wait, hold on one second. Let me just pull this one up. Let me just because I gotta hold on one second. Let's see. All right, so the Panthers on the money line will be. Let me find that one. Panthers on the money line will be plus 104 plus 105 at UWager. Best line would be plus 105 at UWager. Is that enough for you?
That's enough for me. I'm happy to take it.
All right, and I'm going to be on where are we? Over 6 minus 105 on the Pittsburgh Florida game. That is at the bookmaker and a few other places. Another game that is pretty interesting, I think, is Minnesota and Winnipeg. Right now, Minnesota is very banged up, and here's a little note that I have for myself. I don't know if I necessarily want to fade Minnesota here, but I think over their upcoming 10 games or so, I'm going to be looking to fade them more often than not. They're kind of banged up. They got a tough schedule coming up, a lot of games in a row, and I think they're going to be a good team to fade here. They haven't played in a week, so they might get up for this game, though. It's an interesting one. Winnipeg lost to Columbus in their last game. I don't know if I want to fade Minnesota here, but again, my prediction is over the next 10 games or so, they're going to be a good fade, right?
I agree. They have 6 games in 11 nights. I like the Jets here a lot. Their power play is 26th in the league at 10%. That will definitely change. They have too much firepower. Their penalty killing is 28. They allow 3.8 goals a game, which puts them 26th in goals against. I think that will all change. I expect Hellebuck to be in there. I'm hoping he's going to be in there. They haven't made that official, but I'm hoping he's going to be in there tonight. And you're absolutely right. The Wild are a banged-up team. And the most success I've had sitting beside you is fading banged up teams. That's the only time I feel like it's been working. And the Wild are as banged up as you can get. Coyle's out with a broken leg. Foligno has a broken orbital bone. He's been cleared to play and might play. Granlund has a sore groin, maybe playing game time decision. Niederreiter has a sprained ankle. Parise left practice this week with an undisclosed injury. I like the Jets at home, and I'm going to take them, and I'm confident in this action.
But they are very well rested, though, so it might be just that this first game in this tough stretch, they'll come in and then fade later on. Are you worried about that? And Winnipeg is not a particularly fearsome team, to overcome.
They should be. Their offense, their firepower is electric. They should be a really good home team.
Yeah.
Line A should start lighting up. They shouldn't be such an easy team to play. We faded them when we had Columbus against them at home last game, and it worked.
Yes.
But the Jets should be a good home club. and I believe that will start tonight.
All right, so you want them on the money line,
I do.
Minus 120, Winnipeg, minus 120 at Pinnacle and a few other places. Winnipeg, minus 120 is another official pick from Jim the Bag
Some
here.
interesting stuff here. Nate Dogg says Minnesota series 5-5 against the spread and straight up. 7 of 10 games have gone over. Robert Johnston likes the Minnesota-Winnipeg game over.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I definitely had that one circled as a play or a question mark play. I was like, over question mark? All right, but you're going to be on Winnipeg. Next game, let's talk about Vancouver and Buffalo. Vancouver, on a back-to-back, of course, lost at Boston last night. Buffalo's returning from a long trip, really been bad in general, but showing some positive signs, right? They got a win at Anaheim, and then they had a nice comeback, almost win in the Vegas game. So Buffalo showing some life to them. Now the question is just, is Vancouver going to be pissed off about the tough loss yesterday and right on a back-to-back comeback and have a good game? Because if not, I feel like Vancouver's a very fadeable team right now, and Buffalo with some life to them might be worth a shot. What do you think?
I agree completely. Now, I've been reading the Canucks wrong so far this year, and they're my favorite hockey team. I still have no problem betting against my favorite hockey team or betting for them. It doesn't matter that they're my favorite hockey team. But the second half of a back-to-back, I think, will be tough on them. Now, I think the Sabres built momentum in that third period comeback. It's 3 goals in the last 8 minutes, but it was against an expansion team.
Sure, but they also beat out of Anaheim. That was a nice win the game before that, right?
And speaking of teams that need to be faded immediately, Anaheim comes under that. But Kane has gotten off to a good start, 10 points in 7 games. Pominville has 9 points. They're a good team. Eichel has 7 points. I expected so much more from them, and I've not been getting it. But I think this is a good time to take a shot at them. I was so surprised that the Alex Edler injury didn't hurt the Canucks more and they were able to handle it. But Goodbranson is having a hearing for his hitting from behind last night, and he could be out. Now, if Goodbranson and Edler are out of the lineup, how in the world could this Canucks team win? I don't see a world without those 2 defensemen where this Canucks team can win. They have the second worst power play in the league at 4-31. If they don't have any offense and they don't have their best 2 defensemen, I don't see how they could possibly win this hockey game. Okay. And I'm going to take Buffalo.
All right, Buffalo. The best line will be Buffalo minus 157 at Pinnacle. Can I address a hater right now for a second?
Yeah,
do you mind? Yeah. Here we go. All right, I'm going to address a hater right now. Where is he? Jared23 Anchetta says going to fade both of you guys, especially Loshak. LOL. Well, okay. So I'm just wondering which sport he's looking to fade me in. Is it my 60% in college football? Is it my undefeated record in NBA? Is it my double-digit positive ROI in hockey, or is it my double-digit positive ROI in MMA? Jared23 Anchetta, which of my awesome records are you looking to fade right now? Please be specific. Let us know which sport you are looking to fade, because I'm way up in every single sport this year. So I just want to know which specific sport a moron like you is going to look to fade me on. Jared Anchetta, please let us know which specific sport are you going to fade me on? Because the bad news is there's no individual sport that you can pick that I don't currently have a kick-ass record in, including NBA and NHL. Jared Anchetta. Which sport, please? Thank you very much. Was that nice?
I like that.
I'm laughing at that. That was satisfying. Was that good? All right. Okay, good. All right. So let's get back to handicapping. I don't think Jared Anchetta is going to come in and mention which sports he's going to fade me on. But all right. So all right. So you are on Buffalo. What else do you want?
I'm going to take the goal line on the Sabres. I do not like a minus 156. I'd rather go for a bigger score. So I'm going to take the minus 1.5.
The minus 1.5 for Buffalo will be best line we can give you at Pinnacle plus 191.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not a bad line there. Yeah, I mean, it's just I think you're right for doing that. It's probably a lot of volatility here. Vancouver's actually either come in here and get the win or come in here and have absolutely nothing. So yeah, that sounds nice. All right, so you're on the Buffalo puck line. You're on Florida as a home dog, which a lot of people were sort of saying that they disagreed with you on that one. People saying that they were liking actually the Penguins on the puck line. I mean, the Penguins have in this series. Now I don't know if I don't put that much stock into historical series, but the Penguins have pretty much owned Florida for a few years now. You know
they have.
Definitely. Let me see. Here we go. Delta 75 saying Pens may cover puck line as well. Nate Dogg 420 saying Pittsburgh is 6-1 straight up in ATS, and the over is 2-4. I believe he's talking about in this series. I believe.
I think it's important to remember that all season last year, Huberdeau was out of the lineup. I mean, he came back for the last 10 games. That is a crucial thing to remember.
Yes.
Barkov was in and out of the lineup. Bukestad missed over half the season last year. This team is 2-0 at home, and I think that I'm finding value on the Florida Panthers at home.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, all right. So let's see. Looking around here. Let's see. And what do you think about my only pick so far is the over in the Pittsburgh, Florida game? That seems okay, right? You think that's that? Okay. Okay. I'm definitely leaning over also in the Minnesota Winnipeg game and the Buffalo Vancouver game. Man, that is a tough one. I do feel like it's a bad spot for Buffalo, but I mean, sorry for Vancouver, but it's just a little bit too high of a line for me to jump on. And then the Washington Detroit game, very interesting. I'm going to stay way off of that one. I could see this one going either way, as well as with the total. You got a little bit burned taking the Washington over with the Toronto in their last game. I think that was a decent pick, though. It was just a fluky result. Detroit's a home dog here. You have anything to say about this one?
Well, yeah, the Capitals don't look good right now. Burakovsky has 0 goals. He's been moved to the third line, and that's created a situation where they have no balance. And I thought they'd have a lot of depth and balance up forward. Ovechkin, Oshie, and Backstrom have 17 of their 22 goals so far this year. They're clearly scuffling. They've lost 3 of 4. They've been outscored 10-2 in their last 2 games. The Wings are coming off back-to-back losses to 2 very good teams in the Lightning and Leafs. I also went on researching this morning. The Red Wings are the oldest team in the NHL, which kind of caught me by surprise because we've been talking about Mantha and Ferk and all these young studs that they have coming up, but they're still a very old team and have an old back end. This is a game I'm going to stay away from.
Right.
I'm need to watch. I need to see how the Capitals react. I think the Red Wings may start slipping. That initial run in their new arena may have been an anomaly, so we'll have to see.
All right, sounds good. I'm sorry, I'm mesmerized by these comments. Jansen Bonzone actually says, I'm fading your sex life, Pete, LOL, which, yeah, you would have been profitable fading my sex life for most of the past few years, but hanging out with a MILF this Saturday. Yeah. Oh, yeah. God, it's going to be hell, but it's all right. You know, we're going to a quote unquote a grunge rock show.
Oh, shit.
She wants to go, so I'm like, sure, I'll go. God, it's so I'm taking out I've been planning my whole week so that I won't have to do any research or prep work for Saturday night. Yeah, so you're right, Jansen Bonzone, good comment there, accurate there, but even that might be in the positive at some point in the near future. So we will see. All right, sorry, it's been a little bit of the losing day threw me off. It threw me a little bit.
I had to take a series of walks last night. I've never been so fucking irritated before. Losing a game with 15 seconds left in overtime, having that puck bounce off the fucking stanchion, having the Raiders have 4 fucking chances from the fucking 1 yard line. It was a extremely irritating game a day, and it all started off with me going 6-1 in the NBA.
I know.
I was flying so high, and leave it to fucking handicapping for me to get smashed down to earth. I'm going to go across the street, talk to Spidey right after this. I'm going over to the Refugio.
Well, that's the reason why proper bet sizing is so important, so that when the losses come, you don't get bankrupted. You just take the appropriate losses and then move on. And then if you look back over a whole year and you see, an ROI for something like baseball, my target ROI in the entire season is like 2%. That's exactly what I hit this past season. For something like NHL, also, maybe because, maybe you could say NHL's a little bit more beatable. Maybe you could say your target ROI might be 3% or 3.5% or something like that. But there's no 10% ROIs in these long term on the entire season if you're making multiple picks a day. So, you could bounce back very easily, Jim, and I think you probably will. All right. So the 2 games that had no overnight lines, I did not look at. Do you have anything about either of them, Jim?
Yeah. The Habs-Ducks game is, I don't know. I mean, there is value. Is there value on Montreal right now? You're getting barely plus. I mean, how can you trust that team of tiny forwards? But this is the time to bet against the Ducks. Getzlaf and Eves are back on the shelf with lower body injuries. Both Vatten and Lindholm are both questionable. But the Habs, god damn, do they look awful. And that was what we said right in the beginning of the year. They have a -16 goal differential. I'm not going to put a move on this. I don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like a difficult call. But in saying that, the other game does look very interesting. And I've been humming and hawing on it, and there's been some talk about it already with the Devils on our forum. But the Sharks at Devils looks like an interesting proposition. You're getting home dogs lines here, and Pinnacle, and it's changing fast. It's changing fast, and Pinnacle has a great number that maybe I should jump on right now. It is the second half of a back-to-back for the Devils, and no Western Conference team has a better record against Eastern Conference squads than the San Jose Sharks, but this is a team aging fast. And I thought they were going to be the oldest team in the league, but there are 5 teams that have an older average age than the Sharks. As slow as they are, their veterans are still very good on special teams. So they're tied for 3rd on power play. They've killed 19 of their last 20 penalties. They still do the little things right. Logan Couture has 4 points in their last game over the Habs. And if you thought Joe Thornton was slow before, you should see him coming off of knee surgery. I mean, I love the guy, but he's skating very slowly. Now, I think we should bet against them on this road trip. So again, like we talked in before about the Wild, maybe they are okay in this first game, but they play 5 games in 8 days while traveling 5,430 miles. It's going to be a nice spot. Taylor Hall's getting going for the Devils. The first overall pick, Nico Herscher, got 2 goals and assists last night. But the bad news with the Devils, and the reason why I didn't hammer this immediately, is Corey Schneider left the game with a lower body injury, which means Keith Kincaid is starting in goal. And that was enough to give me pause and to not make an official move.
All right, so let's sum up our picks. I am on the Pittsburgh, Florida over. You are on Buffalo puck line. You are on the Florida small home dog line, and you're on the Winnipeg money line, and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. And my leans, let me see if I want to add. My only leans were, let me see, what were the leans that I wanted to think about? I was thinking about Winnipeg, and Winnipeg on the -1 line might be worth the shot. I was thinking of Buffalo, but that is too high. And as far as the totals are concerned, I was thinking about a shot with the over in the Minnesota Winnipeg game as well. What do you think about that one? That's kind of it. What's your take on Dubnyk right now? Do you think he's a fadeable guy, or a guy who is probably going to be reliable long term?
Well, I did not expect him to be the Vezina nominee that he was last year. And when the Oilers got rid of Dubnyk, I thought for good reason. So he sort of came out of nowhere to be a stud. So I could see that happen. Now the question is, with the Wild's injuries, are they going to really tighten up?
Yeah.
So I like the Jets a lot here, and I don't. It's a good question. We got to keep an eye on Dubnyk, because we could be ahead of the curve if we start fading him.
Yes, that's the only reason. I'm going to try to do some more research into the questions that I have in my head in terms of hockey this weekend, and that is one is what to expect from Dubnyk long term, because as of right now, I'm not exactly sure. All right, so I guess as of right now, I'll just stick with the one play, Pittsburgh and Florida over. Jim, you got 3 plays in NHL.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. So that wraps up the NHL slate for today. Hope you have a nice bounce back win. If you have a winning day today, Jim, you are once again positive. Right now, you are down 1/10 of a unit according to my records in NHL.
It's extremely irritating.
But that's how it can happen. You can have winning day after winning day after winning day after winning day, and you have one offer day, and then all of a sudden, all the wins are completely eliminated, right?
Yeah, and as I said, I just need to find a balance, because I find the losing days way worse than I enjoy the winning days.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I enjoy your days in hockey every day, because you do unparalleled research. You know these teams back and forth, and that is very valuable. No, any way you slice it, Jim.
Oh, well, I'm honored to sit here, and I'm honored to work with all the SBR guys.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.